Today we look at the wizard. The wizard is a long-ranged, high-damage rogue class who specializes on single-point, concentrated damage. Its ability, the spell bomb, fires a volley of bullets at wherever the user's cursor is present, allowing the wizard to stand back and delete enemies at a click of a button. Due to the nature of the wizard, it is often reserved within the backline of the group, providing much-needed group damage as well as clearing when exploring the dungeons. So you want to play the wizard? Well, for starters, we should take a look at the stats. For an 8/8 wizard, the most notable stats are dexterity and attack, in which wizard is the only one. Well, shoot. Boasting high attack and maximum dexterity. This makes the wizard a highly offensive class and a reliable damage dealer. However, do not let this overlook the fact that wizard has one of the worst survivability in the roster. Having the minimum health, minimum defense and the speed of a knight, the wizard will have a hard time recovering if ambushed. When starting out as the wizard, always keep your distance from your enemies and utilize the range of your staff and spell bombs. You should never get too close to them unless their patterns are predictable or if it is safe to do so. It's time to look at the weapons for the wizard, in which he has many. The staff classes can just always use the staff of the cosmic hole, dropping from light exalted enemies but most common from Oryx too. Although, there are some notable staves to consider for some situations. The spell blades are a subtype variant of the staff, which allows for armor pierce and penetrating power. These weapons prove to be highly capable against tough enemies and bosses. However, they suffer with lowered range. It's best kept for moments where enemy defense is high. Loot from the Undead Lair can offer a variety of equipment for the wizard, like the Wandering Souls spell and items from the Hollow King Necromancer set. Most notable is the staff from said set. The Ectictum Praetoris functions nearly identical to the staff of Cosmic Hole. So if finding the T12 staff proves futile, consider treating Septavius a visit. Staff of Extreme Prejudice that drops from Sprite World deals incredible damage for essentially no range, and should only be used if the enemy is incredibly weak or cannot attack back, such as an event chest. Wizards can further boost its ridiculously high damage thanks to its attack and dexterity stats, although be wary of enemy activity. Tezcatlipoca's Tail or Comet of Calamity, a slow and high damaging staff, dropping from the first boss of the Secluded Thicket, can armor pierce. Similar to the spell blades, however, it boasts large range. This staff is great for sniping high armored enemies from a distance if the range of spell blades become troublesome. Staff of the Crystal Serpent from Forbidden Jungle is a great weapon for early game wizards with a range of 9 and higher fire rate. A suitable staff until you get the T10 staff. The Bogwood Crook from the Sulphurous Wetlands is an excellent choice as its damage per second rivals the tiered endgame staffs. However, this staff wields an unorthodox pattern, making this a precise weapon. You'll need to adjust how you'll use this weapon, as the Bard's inspiration buff that increases range will alter how this weapon is fired.
Oh.
The wizard's ability is great at dealing high single point damage, however requires a precise aim to use effectively. As the spell originates from the center of the user's cursor, effective usage depends on perfect casting upon an enemy's central body. Often this can be quite difficult amongst faster or erratic opponents, as some shots from spells may miss. This can be quite problematic if the wizard does not have consistent perfect aim. For this reason it is better to elect for spells with returning patterns for better consistency across all enemy types. The other spells that don't suffer that much from the mechanic are the Recurring Terror spell, Sparus Spray spell, Penetrating Blast spell, Runes of Knowledge, Genesis spell and Tablet of the King's Avatar. Featuring either returning shots or area of effect like damage options, having great consistency and outperform the standard tiered spells. Too bad most of these spells are rare and hard to aim, most of which dropping from dungeons that are difficult or have ridiculously low drop rate or both. Unless you frequently run Discord raids or don't suffer from skill issue, the only spell any wizard ever needs is the Recurring Terror spell. Dropping from the Parasite Chambers, this flashy piece of literature shoots in a parametric pattern where all the shots eventually return to the center. This parametric pattern swirls the terror spell's projectiles around the origin of fire, which also lingers. This is great as the terror spell is easier to aim with but also act as mini minefields for more complicated foes. For any wizard, try and get this spell no matter the cost. Kill the colony, kill your forge or kill your time. Either way, it will greatly improve wizard's performance. For robes, the Robe of the Grand Sorcerer and its higher tier variants are good for general purposes. However, there are some notable robes for the wizard. The Soulless Robe, a rare drop from the Death Knight or Water Dragon Silk Robe from Lair of Draconis, can help the wizard with survivability, providing extra defense and health, but losing out in wisdom and mana. These robes are quite effective on the wizard as the class is not as reliant on such stats compared to other robe users. Robe of the Mad Scientist from the Mad Lab discounts your spell bomb costs, enabling wizards to spam and obliterate anything with spell bombs. Anointed Robe from Oryx's Castle is a good damage-centric robe for those who can't do Oryx's Sanctuary, providing an extra 3 dex compared to the Grand Sorcerer. And either Vesture of Duality or Diplomatic Robe for those who can do Oryx's Sanctuary, granting even more attack stats for those that can handle it. For rings, any survival ring with health as its primary stat like the Ring of Exalted Health are great for the wizard for general purposes. However, for as slow as the wizard is, a great swap out is the Snake Eye Ring, which grants speedy on ability use. Incredibly helpful for escaping when ambushed or rushing through enemies, especially for the wizard. Now that you know how to play the wizard, go out there and blow up some gods.